P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits and all of that good stuff. We might be getting some huge news in just a little bit, in just about 20 to 15 minutes, a little bit over a little over 20 minutes, actually, just looking at the time now. There is something that could change the trajectory of this case, Hamburger. But we are here to talk about it and get ready for a possible bombshell of a press conference revolving around the case of the Gilgo Beach serial monster. You know, we got to use these code words, unfortunately. But before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Happy Thursday to every single last one of y'all. I hope you guys are all doing well out there, as you should be doing well out there, okay? Nothing but positivity and good vibes over here, because good vibes always lead us to truths, which I'm hoping we're getting some truths here very, 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 very soon. Let me tell you, if this press conference is going the way I think it is, let me just say this. I was right. That's all I wanted to say. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, baby. We might be hearing some new stuff, yo. This is about to be fire. I hope it's fire. But bombshells are about to get dropped. And this could lead us to more justice, because I don't think they would just waste our time, right? They wouldn't waste our time with some other things. I'll explain in a little bit. But we got a press conference coming up, so we're going to get into it. But like I said, man, if it is what I think it is, I told y'all. Do me a favor, though, hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on other platforms, be sure to hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right, you know your boy's working hard out here in these streets. I had something completely different ready for you guys this morning, and then I caught wind about this new press conference, and I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth I'm missing this. I'm not going to miss this watching with you guys as a fam, because they've been dropping nothing. The last press conference was a bombshell. This is another bombshell. I guarantee you that. So get ready for it. Woo! I'm here for it. I'm here for justice. That's what I'm here for all of those victims. So hit that like button, hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook or anywhere else that I'm streaming right now. Please be sure to crush that follow button on all my social medias: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter. Show some love over there and hit that follow button over there. But of course, do not forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Crush that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Do not forget, if you want to support the channel, you appreciate the way I tell these stories and these cases, please do me a favor. Crush that join button down below. Become a member of the family right here. These purple lights do not pay for themselves, but you can also support even further by going and hitting up my Patreon. It's right there. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Go over there. Show some love. Show some support. That'd be greatly appreciated. We may have a huge turn in the investigation to this case, guys. We may have a huge turn. This may take this case completely on a different trajectory if what they're saying is true. And what I'm talking about is I am talking about Rex Heuermann. You know, I've been calling him Gilgo Baggins, all right? But the, Gilgo Beach serial killer, I'll say it once. Now, he has been tagged to 6 individuals, 6 victims thus far. Just a quick reminder. He was connected to 4. So there was the Gilgo 4 at first. A lot of these women, a lot of these victims were found in the Gilgo Beach area, okay, along a long strip, parts of their bodies, etc. After they went to that house, to Rex Heuermann's house, the Heuermann's red house over yonder, for the second time they went into that house and did a deep, deep dive into that house a second time. They came out with a lot of stuff, countless electronics, countless things that could be connected to all of these victims and how they all left this planet. While they were in there, they found a lot of different things, like a blueprint, as they've been calling it, a document, a journal, where he's been breaking everything down, how he does things, what he could do better, what he could do less of, what he could do more of, etc., etc., etc. Almost like I've said it before, it's almost like he was tearing a page out of American Psycho or Dexter, taking tearing a page out of one of the scripts of Dexter's episodes. If you've never seen that show, it was good for about 3 seasons, and then it went to crap. But anyway, he's constantly trying to make himself the perfect predator, trying to perfect his skills. Some of these things we're saying, like, hey, more sleep equals more playtime. Things like that. We learn about pieces of a table that he would set up, that he would literally put his victims on. And allegedly, he actually would suspend his victims in the air by using ropes and hooks and all that stuff. Not to get into too much detail, but at the end of the day, this man right here, Rex Heuermann, the man I call Gilgo Baggins, is an absolute monster. But there's been a lot of information that's been going on as far as hairs being found, because it's not like, you got to remember, we don't know what we're about to hear in this press conference. So we don't know what the information that's going to be dropped. And I will say this, it better not be like, yeah, Rex Heuermann, just thank you so much for everybody for being here. Just wanted to let you know that Rex Heuermann likes to take long walks on the beach, and he loves his chocolate ice cream. Yeah. And he loves chocolate chip cookies. Thank you all for coming. We just wanted to break that down for y'all. No, I hope that's not the case. I'll be angry as all get out if that's the case. Trust me, I will shake the very foundation of my own private domicile if that's the case. But that's not what we're hearing right now. So we got a couple things I want to show you. Proof positive. All right. First off, I want to share with you guys before we go into the press conference, and let me show you guys, like, this is just so you know, we are really waiting. Shout out to WFLA. We're still waiting. Press conference is going to be happening in about 13 minutes, allegedly. You know how it is. They tend to say 10:15 and it'll be like 10:20. But no matter what, we're here to do a quick trip down memory lane, a quick reminder of all the things that have been going on leading up to this moment right here. All right. So as we wait for that information and those details, I want to share some with you because here it is. Shout out to Laura Ingle. Okay, she put up this post and my mind was blown. I was like, bruh, what? Literally, I said. So let's take a look. Let's take a quick gander. I don't know why I'm doing. Maybe it's because of the Gilgo, Bilbo Baggins, Gilgo Baggins thing in my head. I don't know, but maybe that's why the accent's coming out. But anyway, all right, it's like Gandalf. You know what I mean? Never mind. Let's continue on. But let's take a look at this. Laura Ingle said this, okay, and she has been very, 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 very focused on this case as of recently. She's been doing some deep dives, some investigative work, going to locations, speaking to professionals, people who are close to the case and all that. So here's this for immediate release. This is a press release by attorney John Jay. For immediate release, Lisk, Rex Heuermann was not leading a double life. New important evidence uncovered as to Rex Heuermann's family. Let me just say this really quick. So because, I just got to, because I'm like the cat that got the cream. He just can't stop licking himself, but F it. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the Academy. I appreciate you. Some of y'all were like, how dare you? Some of y'all getting mad. And I'm going, wait a second, though. But wait, think for a second. What are the possibilities? There is no way that this mother lover been out here doing this stuff for decades and not none of them. No, not none of them not know nothing. That makes no sense. All right? It makes no sense. Now, does that mean it's Asa? Let me tell you. Doesn't mean that it's Asa. It doesn't. But it could be. And it could be the kids, which is to me, that's a little bit of that's a far-fetched idea, but you never know because he might have been doing this thing. Real quick, before we continue on, he could be sitting there going, hey, I want to pass on my experience. I want to pass on this gift. He may look at it as a gift. He may not look at it as a disease or as a problem. He may look at it like it's a superpower. You never know. It's crazy, but it's possible. It's crazy, but it's possible. Think about that for a second. He could literally, yes, Twisty Poo. Yes, Twisty Poo. Right? A Gilgo legacy. See, now I feel like it's a Lord of the Rings Tolkien series. You know what I mean? The Gilgo legacy. You know what I mean? You shall not pass, But I digress. Let's get into this. She says this. She says he did not lead a double life. That's huge in my personal opinion, guys. Okay, and this is what the attorney, is saying. John Ray is saying that. So surprising new evidence regarding the family members of Rex Heuermann now has been uncovered. According to John Ray, Miller Place, New York attorney for Shannan Gilbert's family and for other victims of Rex Heuermann. John Ray will release the evidence to the press at a press conference on Thursday. Today. It's 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I'm at his offices, okay? And, of course, all this other mucky muck for press people that want to be there, boots on the ground, checking it out and hearing it live in person. But nonetheless, okay, they say family members. This could very well have everything to do with Asa. It could also have nothing to do with Asa. Just want to make that abundantly clear. But I said, even myself, I was like, there's no way that this family, any of them, it could be his uncle, it could be the kid's uncle, it could be, you never know. Like I said, it could be the kids, could be the wife, so on and so forth, right? Now Jackie M said they cleared his wife. Now, here's the thing, though. Just because they cleared his wife at that time does not mean that there couldn't be a possibility of information that was dug out of that house recently to expose her involvement, her possible involvement. Like I said, what is yesterday's news is not today's news, right? What's yesterday's information is not today's news. You see what I'm saying? And with this case, I've noticed it continues to constantly morph and change and grow. obviously, because they just connected him to two other victims. And there will be more. There'll be at least 11. Watch. But what I also think is very interesting, yes, with new evidence, when you get new evidence out of that red house over yonder, when you get when you get new evidence, you're sitting there going, oh, wait a second. This says this and this. He's writing about this and this. Or there's evidence that's pinning her to it, or the kids, or anyone. They say family members. Like I said, it could be anyone. But you're telling me he operated like this all out here in plain sight, and he was sitting there like architect by day and then monster by night, and no one knew about this? I want to also point to you one more time, and I'm going to highlight it because it says this right here. What does that tell you? Rex Heuermann was not leading a double life. What does that tell you, guys? One more time. Rex Heuermann was not leading a double life. If he was not leading a double life, that would mean his family, his immediate family, knew exactly what was going on. Now, did they have any involvement in this? In these 11 plus victims that are out here? God only knows. Do they have any connection to the 6? God only knows. And of course, we're going to find out very, very soon. And I'm wondering if law enforcement going to be in the house. I'm wondering if they're going to be showing up to the crib immediately going, bing bong. Hi, Miss Ellerup, or however you say her last name. I'm sorry, but you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Speak in the Mirandas. Okay? But like I said, if he did not lead a double life, that says in front of his own kids, he was out here exposed. He was out and proud. He was not moonlighting. Okay? Just so you know. So we'll see. Like I said, we will see here very soon. But I there's more. Okay? Hold on, guys. My headphones are tripping. Okay. But don't worry. We got more. Let's take a look at this right here. Presser on suspect's family set to reveal new evidence. Let's take a look at this as well. Oh, and I will be doing a part 2 of the Madeline Soto breakdown of all the documents later this afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have kind of like a heads up. Okay. I'll have the whole show set up so you guys know when we do that as well. All right. But this is fascinating stuff. And this is huge. If this is what like I said, they better not be like, he likes mint chocolate chip ice cream. His favorite holiday is Christmas. But he loves Thanksgiving because of the turkey. So just wanted to let y'all know about all that. Any questions? Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Good night. I hope they don't do that. They better not do that because I'll be mad. But I don't think that's going to happen. And Laura Ingle, by the way, shout out to Laura Ingle. She's the one who even posted this and said he did not live a double life. That's huge. And I don't think she would post something like that if she didn't have solid information. And also I want to say this, just going back to this. This is a press release by John Ray. So this is not her just typing it up. This is from the horse's mouth. This is from Shannan Gilbert and the other victims' family's lawyer that's sitting here saying he did not live a double life, y'all. And we have proof, we have evidence, and we're about to blow the lid off this. It's massive, guys. It's massive. But let's get into this here, okay? Because we've got a few more minutes before they show up, all right? Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on this. They should be starting any second now. But they say new evidence regarding the family of suspect Gilgo Beach serial monster Rex Heuermann is expected to be revealed at a press conference in Long Island today, according to an attorney for several of the alleged victims. Attorney John Ray, who represents one of Heuermann's alleged victims, as well as the family of Shannan Gilbert, promises that the new important evidence regarding the family will be announced. His estranged wife, Asa, filed for divorce in July of last year after he was charged, but has still shown up at several of his hearings. And I wonder why. I mean, of course, I don't understand the stand by your man. I still don't get it. If you're sitting there going, I want you to sign them papers, I don't get it. I don't get it. You see that crossover? I went R&B all the way to country. Do you like that, y'all? Hit the number one if you appreciate it. Anyway, why would you still show up to these hearings if you want nothing to do with the man? Okay? So they have the couple have 2 children, okay? And a lot of them, a lot of the times they were out of state. Now, I want to say this really quick before we get into this, because they're going to be getting this started very, very shortly, very, very soon. Okay, they're going to be doing this press conference any minute now. But I want you to know, I'm keeping an eye on it, trust and believe. But I want you guys to think about this. And I said it before. You got her, and this is my theory. My theory could still be wrong. My theory is Rex told her, he confided in her about his issues. Either he got caught by her, or he confessed and said, I just need to get this off my chest. It's like an addiction. And she said, you know what? I'm gonna help you feed that addiction. Every time I go out of town with the kids, you can feed that addiction. Do what you need to do. I'll be out of town. And then when I come back, we get Rex back. I know that sounds crazy, but we have covered some wild-ish on this channel as of late. I mean, Madeline Soto's case is just wild as well, right? So what are the chances of her being like, no, you know what? I understand. You go and feed that monster, but you only do it when we are out of town. Why would she constantly be out of town every time that he would go and commit these unalivings, these monstrous, disturbing, deeply disturbing acts of violence? Think about that for a second. How is that? And then she's just cool with him staying back while she's going off to Iceland and crap like that all the time? That don't make sense to me, guys. This seems choreographed, to me at least. And there's a good possibility that we might get some information here saying, yeah, this ish was choreographed. Then the other thing too, why was always her hair in the same area too? I know there's touch DNA and things can happen on all that stuff, but her hair, it was tagged to him there too. You see what I'm saying? There must have been some sort of understanding here, guys. There must have been some sort of arrangement. I also heard that they used to swing for the fences, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They're loving that funky dope loving. You know what I mean? Some Keith Sweat for you guys. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? Maybe they're out here just, they just have a full-on deeper understanding of how, they just like, Bonnie and Clyde, but in a weird, messed up kind of way. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, something funky's going on. Something weird is going on. They swinging for the fences. Apparently they like to share, baby. Okay, they like to share. And she goes on vacations, and every time she goes on these vacations, that's when he's out here murking. Something doesn't seem right. There's some sort of understanding and some sort of arrangement just like them swinging for the fences. You see what I'm saying? Where she says, okay, honey, okay, you need to feed the monster. I'm going to go and take the kids on a trip. How convenient, wouldn't you say? So that's just, like I said, those are the theories that I have. I know those are crazy speculations. I'm not sitting here saying that she is involved. You never know what they're going to say in this press conference. This press conference could drop. They could drop different names in the family, but you say family members, and the fact that he did not live a double life is huge. So let's take a listen.
I need Gary. Gary, you're going to be up here.
Hopefully they'll crank up the volume over there because it's low.
There's a little delay anyway. There's one or two reporters called and said, "Can you wait 5 minutes?" So, you've been there. You heard this.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for Lopez.
That is a jacket. That is a jacket. I thought that was corduroy for a second. Damn.
John Ray heard there waiting for the cops, waiting for law enforcement. The release did say that attendance will be limited to media and law enforcement. Interesting that law enforcement will be present, according to the release, for a press conference that goes into evidence, what this evidence actually looks like. And this is the first time they've zoomed out. They just put
snap
some exhibits.
Oh, snap. They came with receipts. Oh, they came with receipts. Get ready, guys. This is going to be wild. Okay. No, I'm not knocking the jacket. I'm just saying that's a jacket.
Ready? Good. Here we go.
Okay. Turn that mug up. Shout out to WFLA.
Good morning, everyone.
For providing this.
Thing is, I please ask that we're going to make a presentation, and I'll try to speak as loud as I can since we don't have a mic ourselves, and we're live streaming it. So I'll ask that all questions await the end of the presentation. Presentation is going to take a little bit, not as long as you were worried about, but indeed we have some other people here to talk about. With me today, to my right, is Dr. Gary Brucato, who is a clinical and forensic psychologist, researcher, and nationally known author for his work in the areas of violence, including serial killing, especially serial killing, mass murder, and sexual offenses, as well as severe mental illnesses. He's a visiting scholar at Boston College, an expert on the Cold Case Foundation panel. He's worked at Columbia University, the New York State Psychiatric Institute, and he's co-created the Columbia Mass Murder Database, the largest and most definitive study of mass murder ever conducted. He's written nearly 100 articles, peer-reviewed articles, and he's written a well-known book in this field called The New Evil: Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime. He co-authored that with another doctor.
Hit the like button, please.
Working in several forensic training programs, and he's a friend of mine, and he's been working with me on this case over the course of approximately a year. So he's here today to do some explaining and connecting of the dots that I'm going to put out there for you with what we have learned, what we have discovered. First, I have nothing but admiration for the work of the District Attorney Ray Tierney and his task force in their use of technology and DNA. But we disagree on two very important subjects: the murder of Shannan Gilbert and the suspicion of culpability of the family of Rex Heuermann. I've been the gatekeeper in this case, or these cases, going all the way back to the end of 2011 until now. And I'm going to continue in that role. And just so it's clear, because we've heard critics, I have not made 1 penny in this case from anyone, and the man I sued has no money. We will make no money in all the work that I have done from the beginning. We're not in this for the money, and never have been. I'm in pursuit of Shannan Gilbert's killers and the full truth and the facts and circumstances surrounding all of these murders, as I've been from the beginning. I represent that family, the Gilbert family, and I represent several victims' families of Rex Heuermann who survived him and were attacked by him or stalked by him. So I'm not here today, by the way, to just speak about exclusively about Shannan, but I'm here to speak about what we have discovered regarding one of the children and the implications of that for the family.
Oh, snap.
Now, look, if you're of the school that you say all that happened to Shannan Gilbert was a coincidence, all those things were coincidences and circumstantial evidence only, no matter how strong the evidence was or is, you say it's not proof enough to suggest that she was murdered, then you don't stay here. You don't need to, and you don't need to watch this conference on streaming on the internet, because you will be disappointed. Most of the things that we know happened, we know from circumstantial evidence. And what we have here is circumstantial evidence. But if you're able to accept that circumstantial evidence can be strong, as a great lawyer once said, as when you find a trout in the milk, that circumstantial evidence can be filled with right-minded inferences, real inferences, inescapable conclusions. This conference is for you. I'm thinking I had a case with a newly constructed wall which tipped over and broke a worker's legs. And it wasn't hard to believe that the wall was defective, even though nobody saw it tipping. That's circumstantial evidence. That's what we have here. You will see today that Rex Heuermann's porn is matched by his daughter's tastes, his daughter's work. You will see that we are not talking here about, what should I call it? Merely murder. I say it ironically. We're talking about people who are involved and interested in torture, horrifying torture of the people we know are now dead, and many more yet to come.
What?
We are talking about the potentiality of cannibalism.
Oh.
Or we are talking about the use of porno to effect what has happened.
Holy
so
crap.
allow me now to pull back the curtain.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
You know a person by the company he keeps. Do any of us deny that? You know a person by what they read, what they look at, and that's especially today with the internet, the choices they make, of which there are many. You know about people who agree with you, what you say, what you do, who have the same experiences as you have, who have done what you have done. We know you by the friends you keep. We know you by reputation. The things which in essence reflect you and your experiences. Now, this is Victoria Heuermann. All right, we're giving out the
Wow.
packet. There will be two, and all of this will be online as well. So if we run out, forgive me. By the way, the full color ones were extremely expensive, and we have a budget.
Bruh. The daughter, though? Hamburger. Yo, this is insane. Liz said I need a drink. Yeah, I feel you. What?
We
What
say
the-
that the evidence we have, and this is just the beginning of the evidence you will see today. The evidence that we have suggests that we've been sold a story by the Heuermann family. Take a look at the first page and the picture that's to the right. That's Victoria Heuermann as she tried to appear to the press when you first confronted her at the home in Massapequa Park. There she is in her little girl's uniform. She's 27 years old with a school bag draped over her, her hair in a nice little bun. Very innocent looking person. The other picture is also Victoria Heuermann, as she really is, as she portrays herself on the internet, as she actually looks.
Wow.
We've been sold a bill of goods. If you look at her artwork,
It's dark.
in the top page, her artwork consists that she posted online of a human skull. That's just the beginning.
Okay, I was gonna say you can't just do because she dresses weird and
Indictments,
yes.
oddly enough, and you folks took the picture, you see Victoria Heuermann walking out, I believe from her house. And I thought it was odd when I saw it. But you'll notice she's wearing a shirt that depicts, right after her father is indicted, for these murdered women, it depicts a human skeleton. That's what she's wearing. I'm going to show you what she's looking at on the internet.
I mean, just because she
Do not indulge in moral posturing that I am merely shaming her, who is also a victim of sorts, and she is a victim for sure of her family. Don't do that because she's a 27-year-old woman who tore off the cloak of victimhood when she chose to take a handsome profit for herself and for her lawyer from Peacock for openly displaying the pretend picture of this innocent girl, little girl persona who had nothing to do with what went on in that house. She did that at the real victim's expense for a price. She herself marketed her false image. Her true self, a vastly different self, is fair game because of what she's done. What she has witnessed, what she has perhaps gone beyond witnessing, you draw the inference. I'm not going to feed it to you. You draw the inference. Here is my assistant and expert technician, Lena Ajit, who's going to explain to you these posters and how we came to acquire them and how we can be sure they are from the daughter.
Hold on real quick. Let me just pause this for a second. First off, oh boy. Okay, first off, let me just say this. Just because she dresses an emo, all right, or she's a little goth, does not automatically mean an admission of guilt. I know that he's breaking it all down and he's doing bit by bit and he's going moment by moment. But at the same time, I just need to make that abundantly clear before we continue on. But to say that she is, it's very damning. Okay. Nonetheless, I do want to share with you guys this. This is exactly the photo I used even in my thumbnail. This photo of her looking all innocent and demure and all that stuff. How he's sitting here saying like, how she presented herself to the public is this, but she actually looks and acts a completely different way. So I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. We're going to continue on to the rest of this. I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to say that really quick so you guys don't think like I'm just instantly going, "Ooh, she guilty." I want to hear what he has to say. Just because she dresses emo and draws pictures of skulls and stuff does not automatically mean she's out here doing something sinister. So I'd like to hear what he got to say about this. Oh no. I don't know if I could show you guys this stuff. I mean, they're drawings, but they're not great. Very, very descriptive drawings.
Lena, my assistant Nani.
I'll just show it to you guys.
Frances Nicotra, who's a co-administratrix for the estate of Shannan Gilbert and the estate of Mary Gilbert, and has worked with me on these cases for years. Now, Lena's going to talk to you about the technical side of these pictures.
We can be reasonably certain that the Tumblr blog, which is what these pictures come from, that the Tumblr account and blog in question, attached to the username Vinandimadtour, is operated by Victoria Heuermann for various reasons. First, we see from Victoria's LinkedIn her profile picture. This same profile picture is identical to a selfie posted to the Tumblr account. Vinandimadtour on June 10th, 2018, posted alongside art signed Victoria Heuermann, 12/1/15, as well as a clay modeling of a human skull. Second, Victoria, on her LinkedIn, links to a now defunct website with the URL www.vinandimadtour.art, which presumably once showcased her artwork. You'll notice that this website URL mirrors the username of the Tumblr account and is likely a reference to an Icelandic word or phrase, which I'll talk about later. For reference, Victoria's now deleted Instagram also used this handle username. The same website is also linked in Victoria's Tumblr's biography. If you navigate to Victoria's Tumblr, you will find a tab to view her posts, as well as a tab to view a list of the accounts she follows on Tumblr. Her posts consist of her artwork, some of which is included in the digital file that I will be sharing with everybody today, and printed for you in the packet we will be circulating. And on her Tumblr profile, a single reblog. A reblog on Tumblr is when one reposts a post from another blog onto one's own blog. This single reblog made by Victoria is from an account which specializes in the production and distribution of illustration furry pornography. The reblog post is of the user, which Victoria follows, advertising where their content can be found beyond Tumblr, right before Tumblr effected a ban on adult content. For those who are unfamiliar, a furry is someone who is an enthusiast for anthropomorphized animal characters, often portrayed in sexualized fashion. A sampling of this person's content can be found on the Twitter account ebchimera_adult. I might add that these images are not for the faint of heart. It is cartoon pornography, but it depicts various grotesque acts of bestiality. That this person produces grotesque cartoon hentai-style pornography is significant, as it is seemingly the only account with which Victoria has engaged publicly, deeming this person's content worthy of a reblog, and that according to the district attorney, Rex Heuermann himself searched specifically for hentai porn, searches which the DA described as sadistic. While Victoria's likes on Tumblr are not available for public review, some counts are, she has chosen not to make hers public. We can look to the list of accounts she follows to inform us as to what kinds of images Victoria is viewing. Upon examination of the roster of accounts Victoria follows on Tumblr, nearly every account is focused on the circulation of furry art and images. Victoria has a preference for furry pornographic material and dark, macabre art as seen on various accounts. And I'll go into some of these accounts right now. There's Ebony Chimera, a furry porn content creator, NIEH Furry, a furry content and furry porn creator. I guess I should be thankful, a furry porn and furry content creator who links to a fan fiction account of theirs on a website called Archive of Our Own, which publishes explicit content. This person's works and bookmarks displays a preference for fan fiction with the self-described themes of graphic depictions of violence, rape, child abuse, strangulation, underage prostitution, asphyxiation, and rough sex. Squeak Squad 524, a blog which describes itself as an art blog of Yiffertons, Yif and its derivations being slang terms used by furries to refer to pornographic content of anthropomorphic animal characters. Lilera, the account from which most of these images come, and it's an account which circulates disturbing images of gore, violent pornography, and other fetish content. The content creator describes themselves and their blog and their bio as a gore whore, with content warnings, self-described as extreme gore, hard vor, violence extreme, vor being cannibalistic imagery of a victim eaten alive. This is to quote the dictionary, the prey's flesh being ripped, chewed, or bitten, resulting in horrific injuries and often loss of life. According to a translator familiar with Scandinavian languages with whom we consulted, Victoria's account handle Vinan de Madtour may itself be an allusion to eating and consumption, a disturbing reference when considered in the context of the hard vor fetish content Victoria views and follows.
Jeez Louise, man. Diggity damn.
I'm going to take you through a few points. The rest of them speak for themselves. But if you don't mind, there are many pictures besides what I'm showing you that she's looked at that are equally as bad, if not worse. We just thought these.
You're off mic, John.
I'm off mic, so I'm going to shop.
Keep talking, bro.
So I just stay there and point? All right, I'll try.
Yeah,
why don't you talk on the mic and say which picture and then we
Yeah, talk and somebody do the Vanna White. How's that?
I have to be able to see them. That's the trouble.
Do you want me to bring them to you?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah. The hanging one.
You can hold them.
Have mercy. Wow, guys. But just because her search engine does not automatically mean an admission of guilt. Just saying that
We
really
chose
quick.
these pictures because of the significance in relation to Rex Heuermann as well as his daughter, Victoria. Take a look. It's people hanging. That's what she's looking at. But look particularly at this particular person hanging. There's a shoe missing. Sandra Castilla was found with a shoe missing. This seems to be a fetish that was indulged in by Rex Heuermann, a fetish that is depicted and looked at by his daughter. That's a connection. Yep. Perhaps this is a stretch and perhaps not, but look at the hairstyle and consider Rex Heuermann's hairstyle. But this is a picture of a person who's hung. Remember that Rex Heuermann is using points to hang people. This person is hung and disemboweled with a knife that's in the picture. Yep. This appears to be the remains of a human being that looks half eaten. Remember that
Wow.
Victoria Heuermann is on the internet reading words and looking at pictures that deal with hardcore. That is to say, cannibalism. If you look at the the packet I gave you, there are other pictures in there that are so atrocious we didn't even put them up. Worse than what you see of people eating human flesh.
Oh my God. Wow, y'all. Wow, 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 wow. Wow.
In this picture, if you look, it has a
Oh my.
strange familiarity when you see it because the torso shows that the arm is chopped off at the elbow. And the head is, of course, disconnected as well. And the body is being cut up into pieces, the hands, and so on. Who does that match? Jessica
Ay,
Taylor?
caramba.
Valerie Mack?
She posted these things, y'all.
Slicing up as if it were for food.
I don't know if she made this art or if she was just reposting these pics. You see what I'm saying? She might be just reposting these things, but my God.
This is a picture of a female human body completely disemboweled in the front with her entrails hanging over her vagina and her legs chopped off. Some of these things I gotta reading about, which I'm going to put before you in a moment. Some of the things she's reading about was how, when these bodies were disemboweled and cut up, the torturer would have sex with the openings, such as in the leg. That's what she's reading about.
Okay, that one's being put away. All right. Sorry, guys. Trying to respect y'all too, because this is some yeesh. Yeesh.
This is very interesting. Here is a woman.
Okay.
There is a woman
He describes it.
who's completely garroted by the horns of a deer head, which is a favorite theme in this book picture she's looking at. Deer, they have to do with witchcraft. And you can see what's happened to the woman. But notice, there's a marsh in the background.
Oh.
The woman is laying on her back, just as Shannan Gilbert was found. Make of that what you will.
Okay. He's putting it away.
In your packet,
Have mercy. Oy, 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 oy.
the picture there is actually artwork produced by Victoria.
Okay.
Look, there's this horrifying monster with blood eating on the breasts of this woman who has a furry butt plug
What the hell?
hanging out the back. She produced this art.
Like father, like daughter? Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree? Is this nature, not nurture? I'm just saying, I'm asking you guys this real quick before they continue on. Could it just be in the blood? Is it in her DNA? Or does she really know? Or does she really know, like, was involved in some of these things?
There's a room that looks like a basement with blood all over. Sound familiar? Does it match Massapequa Park? Quite possibly.
I mean, I agree. If she knew, they all mother loving knew. Let's keep it a buck. And she must have seen some things which traumatized her, which of course turned into her obsession.
It appears to be a basement with blood all over it.
Jeez Louise.
Remind you of the basement in Massapequa Park? I won't show them all. I don't need to.
This is just the beginning, guys.
Body of a man with the arms and legs sliced off and chopped in half.
I didn't know it was going to be this kind of party. Damn. Hit that like button down below, guys.
Take a look at the neck of this person being chopped up. The neck is not just pierced, it's cut open. Think about Shannan Gilbert and her hyoid bone. Here's what she's reading. Don't be scared because I said I wanted to crack open your chest and play in your blood. I'm not a scary person. Murder is very romantic. By the way, remember, her father is looking at the same items. If you don't learn how to pull hair properly, you can easily snap someone's neck. If your communication and self-insight isn't on fucking point, dark kinks easily just become self-harm or abuse. If you tie the rope without EMT shears in reach, you're trying irresponsibly. If you're playing with drowning or waterboarding, a 2-second fuck up can kill.
This is damning as all get out.
Here they are feasting on human flesh, and there's the human flesh being taken apart for food. Reading. It's entitled Brutalized, brackets, Hot Sexy. Being drowned in a bathtub, bonus points if it's full blood. Throat bit and crushed in someone's teeth. Arm skinned and someone pulling on your tendons to force your fingers to move. Hands being stepped on and broken. Making out with mouths full of blood. Bonus points if it's your blood and you're forced to drink it.
Jesus.
Stabbed while in a crushing embrace that starts to break your ribs. Wrapped in electric barbed wire. High-powered shock collar and muzzle. Sedation. Enough to be in a dreamy haze while you're taken apart. Blindfolded, muzzle tied down while someone cuts you open and plays with your organs. Arms strapped down, multiple needles left in, full of drugs, while your killer explains the plans for your tonight as they prepare your body. Punched in the mouth, bruises. Body cut up, played with, and left broken to die. And then the instruments. Just like the instruments described in what the district attorney released of Mr. Heuermann's work. These are posts that did she repost these? These are posts, circulated by blogs that she follows. Listen, yes, it's technically illegal to keep a person chained to the wall in your basement. Use their holes, H-O-L-E-S, holes, whenever you please, and treat them as nothing but an object for your pleasure. But you're not a person, so what's the problem? These are sex toys. These are for sex, a bone saw. He had a collection of these items or similar items. Chains with points, hard points. He used hard points. He refers to it. The inside of my brain looks like this: a basement with a bed and blood all over it. Massapequa Park.
This is crazy, y'all.
Take those things that I've just shown you, and let me read you this first, and then I have something else I want to tell you.
Are they quotes from her?
These are quotes from what she's reading. Okay.
Damn.
By the way, we don't have more than what I'm showing you for one very good reason. We have found that it appears that she erased all of her sites that she had, all of her social media. She just missed these ones. And her mother, we tried to get her mother's similarly, all erased, except for Twitter. Now, the district attorney himself makes a list in his latest indictment papers of what Rex Heuermann is looking at. And amongst them, there are 26 of them that he lists, but I'll just hit some that matter in relation to these photos and what was said on the blogs that she was looking at. Quote, girl begging for rape porn. Teen girl begging for rape porn. Pretty girl with bruised face porn. Remember the picture of the bruised face woman or girl in his house. Torture redhead porn. She's a redhead, the daughter.
No doubt.
School girl. Lips cut off. Skinny redhead tied up and raped. Girl hog-tied torture porn. Match what you heard there with what you've seen here and heard from what she said. And they're almost the same, or they are the same. Mr. Tierney says, newly discovered searches include these are the films he's looking at, or that Heuermann's looking at. Hung by tits, ball gag. And we have pictures that she was looking at of ball gags with blood all over the face of the person who has it. They were both interested in ball gags. Medieval torture of women speaks for itself. Long Island Mistress BDSM. We also know all these pictures speaks for themselves as BDSM. And we know that Heuermann spent time, we know now, in Manhattan clubs in BDSM situations. For example, a place called Pandora's Box. When you take all of these things collectively, are you going to be able to reasonably say, well, just circumstantial evidence? Who knows whether the mother really knew what was going on in the house? Who knows whether Mr. Heuermann had anything to do with what happened to his daughter? You can take one inference is that this poor girl was brought up in this sickness. And don't think for 1 minute, from what you now know, that Rex Heuermann was cutting people up, removing their hands and heads and so on, just so that he could avoid identification. That isn't even true. We know he left the tattoos on, he sliced them up. He knew very well he could have just cut them off, and he didn't. He's not caring too much about identification, although he is that too. He's enjoying what he's doing. Look at what he is reading, what his daughter is reading, what they're observing. It's BDSM to the max. And it's demonic. How else do you describe it? This house, are you surprised at the way it looked? It matches the demonic life that they're living there. Why do you think they haven't left after they know that murdered bodies were in that home?
Heard that?
There's
Heard
much
that?
more said on that. I say to you, you draw the inferences. You draw the inferences. But how can you escape some meaning to what we have discovered?
Influence is big. Influence is big for sure. We can definitely confirm that there is an influence there.
You can tell from this, we're the gatekeepers. We're in pursuit of the killers. We know from one witness that I've already produced to the district attorney's office, who was vetted by Commissioner Rodney Harrison, police commissioner, and found to be credible. We know that Shannan Gilbert was in the Sayville Motor Lodge with Rex Heuermann. There's a connection between her and him. We know something that has never to this day been addressed by the Heuermann family lawyers, nor for that matter by the district attorney. And that is that I was able in January to check out the alibi that Mrs. Heuermann and children were in Atlantic City when Maureen Brainard-Barnes disappeared in July of 2007. We talked to the night manager, and I say we, myself and 3 witnesses who are present here today, 3 eyewitnesses. We spoke to the night manager for that hotel, and we checked out whether or not the Heuermann family had checked in when they would have had the alibi. They did not. They checked in not on July 6th. They checked in on July 17th. And she read it to us off the computer that she had in front of her twice. And I brought this up, and you heard the lawyers, Mr. Matev and Mr. Macedonio, say, John Ray's a liar, and they'll prove it. That was 200 and somewhat, how many days ago now? Since January? You never heard another word from them, did you? And I'm awaiting the district attorneys look into that. We're the gatekeepers. For all the facts and circumstances. And remember what the commissioner of Suffolk County Police Department said. If you don't want to talk to the police for any reason, call John Ray. I'm operating under that official blessing, and I'm not giving up, and you can see why. These people are in our society. They're cannibals. They're monsters. They're human devils. They're evil. The Heuermanns are part of that package. Now, with me, now, I mentioned Dr. Brucato, who's here to address some of the things that I have just now mentioned. Gary?
First of all, is everyone hearing me all right? Everyone hearing me well?
Yes.
First of all, thank you to Mr. Ray and his team and to all of you. And I'll begin my comments by saying that it is important that we dedicate everything we're doing today to the victims. I think it's very important to do that, to remember that we're not interested in the titillating details of what an offender has done as much as trying to prevent those horrible things from happening in the future by understanding these people. I think it's also important to mention that I have not examined Mr. Heuermann, his daughter, his wife, or any other member of the family. And the comments I'm going to make are general about the trends in these kinds of offenders and what we might be able to gauge about someone who may be potentially joining the ranks of that type of individual here. First of all, when people are charged with offenses, repeat murder, you don't get hauled into court, under a charge of serial killing, right? But it is important to understand when there is a pattern of serial killing that is alleged, we can learn a great deal about what the likely motive is of the individual and understand a lot about the individual's psychology. The vast majority of people who meet criteria for serial killing are sexually motivated. And I want you to understand that we have to envision a circle in which there are individuals that repetitively commit sexual assault against other individuals, but don't kill. Within that circle is a smaller group of individuals who are sadistic toward the individuals that they're assaulting, brutalizing them in every imaginable way, but do not kill them. Within that circle is a smaller group that proceed to actually kill the individuals, sometimes to get rid of witnesses, sometimes because the force is too much and someone passes away, and sometimes because this now becomes part of the thrill. But within that circle is the rarest of all, which is a sexually sadistic serial killer who kills after protracted, prolonged torture in every imaginable way. And it is in that tiny circle that we would be placing Mr. Heuermann if he is indeed guilty. It is important to understand that individuals like that are motivated partially by sadism and partially by a kind of intellectual boredom, a stimulation. People of that type, for example, can look at all kinds of things and collect all kinds of things and do all kinds of things to keep it interesting for themselves. And as a consequence, evolve and do all manner of things to their victims to learn about what happens to bodies, to see what causes the greatest thrill. Now, regarding the things that have been spoken about today, it is important to understand that about 80%, it is estimated, of serial killers operate alone. But that leaves, by some estimates, 20% that do operate with other people. Though it can be a group of people that are all interested in the same perversions. That can be a wife or a partner, significant other. That can be one's own child. In that small circle of cases, which incidentally do not include any in the state of New York that I'm aware of prior to this, where an individual actually has what may be a torture chamber or an isolated place where individuals are brought. For example, you remember from the document reference to hard points. Hard points are those little screws that you hang a variety of tools on, like in a garage. You have to imagine a situation in which a woman would be knocked out and wake up in that kind of chamber with all those instruments around her to be used like a kid in a candy box for sadism and experimentation repetitively. And you have to imagine the potential that that's inside a soundproofed room in one's own home. The rarity of that cannot be emphasized enough. Now, some cases that might be instructive for people to look into. The most important, I think, being the case of David Parker Ray, the sexually sadistic serial killer who had a $100,000 torture chamber soundproofed inside a trailer where women were brought by his own daughter sometimes after she had knocked them out for participation in perversions. Another case you may want to look at is the case of John Wayne Gacy, the sexually sadistic serial killer of boys and young men, because until recently it was thought that he was a lone wolf. And some evidence has emerged more recently that he may have been part of a network that was feeding victims to him. And there are many serial killers of that type, we are learning. There is a tendency to think that these types are lone wolves who can't have relationships with others or engage in crimes with other people. Regarding the things that were spoken about today, as a psychologist, I think it would be important for me to emphasize that we have no clear accusations or proof one way or the other, but there are certainly suggestions that I think must be taken seriously, and there would be precedent for this kind of thing based on other cases. Approximately 1 in 5, according to some experts, of these serial killers do operate that way with other people. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'll also say at the end, I'll also like to take a very quick moment to say that I am a member of the Cold Case Foundation on the expert panel. I'll clarify because I know some people are aware of the name of John Douglas coming up in the bail document as the author of 2 of the books studied allegedly by Heuermann. He is the chairman emeritus of the Cold Case Foundation, which is a group of experts that offers help, assistance to law enforcement, to individuals that petition, families that petition to help solve cold cases. I am sure, given that the average age of onset for people who commit these offenses is about 26, and they don't tend to stop until eliminated or arrested, you can imagine that it would be very improbable that there are only 6 victims in this case. And you can imagine that these individuals would have been kept for some time prior to their killing. I am sure that there are loads of people out there, probably in multiple states, who have encountered this individual, who have potentially escaped this individual, who may have actually been assaulted by the individual or engaged in perverse actions, or may have information on homicides that might in the future be alleged. I would encourage you to please be unafraid to consider prayerfully, thoughtfully reaching out to a group like the Cold Case Foundation, to someone like Mr. Ray, to law enforcement, because when this story is all over, I suspect it will be much more complicated and horrifying than it even appears to be now. Thank you.
What's that? One more. We'll do it. Okay. Just keep in mind one or two more things. In the packet that I gave you, the first packet, the black and white, the pictures on the back and are pictures from the book that was on the kitchen table when the police entered in the last warrant. And when Victoria was home alone, that book speaks of death scenes, and those are real gore, real pictures of sex workers chopped up. That's what she had on her kitchen table, and her lawyers say they don't know how to explain it. That's in this too. And that is that after this, can anybody reasonably infer, as we've heard over and over again to the contrary, can anybody reasonably now infer that this man was leading a double life at home? There was no double life. Now we'll answer questions.
So is it likely that he essentially psychologically trained his daughter to become a serial killer? If that's in the realm of possibility?
I can't speak to this particular case because I have not examined anyone involved. And so far what we have here is circumstantial things that are certainly worth contemplating. I'll say this, among the individuals that do participate with serial killer family members or friends or associates, they seem to divide up into different groups. Some of them have their own perversions and are collaborating because they, in a group, are able to enjoy these things together. And some of them are individuals who have been traumatized or exposed repetitively to these kinds of things and are joining in with the offender. Sometimes there's a kind of Stockholm syndrome or attempt to survive. Sometimes because it's been so desensitized for them that it's become normal in the home or environment in which they're operating. and sometimes there's no relation, that they just are interested in these kinds of unusual things on their own. But you have to take that on a case by case basis. And I think it's certainly worth thinking about, because I think we'd agree that what we're seeing here is certainly disturbing.
In his manifest, he used the term play, and apparently Victoria used the same terminology.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
Well, it gets to the point that I raised earlier about a lot of this being about stimulation and excitement and fun for these individuals. And the idea is to extend, in the fantasy at least, to extend what is happening to the individual out of a kind of curiosity and amusement, and to keep heightening the thrill the way somebody, for instance, with a drug addiction might do, to need a greater and greater high. And some people can have fantasies like that and leave them at the level of fantasy. And some individuals need to actually spill over into enacting those fantasies. But it's impossible to say, how many people have only the fantasies and how many actually spill over. But fantasies are certainly disturbing. Sorry. Well, first of all, there are some situations I'm aware of where that happens, where, as I said, there is normalization within a home to the point that that can happen. But the themes that are here are extreme, even for people who have sexualized or aggressive fantasies, because we're seeing here themes of things like cannibalization, fornication with body parts, dismemberment, mutilation, things like that. It's not just bondage fantasies. It extends all the way over into things that are far more horrifying. And for those things to be normalized, you'd have to think about the kind of material a person is exposed to, the kind of pornography they might be exposed to, the kind of talk, books, etc. But I think the jury is out on what this is about. But it's certainly worth thinking about.
John, I apologize. This is obviously very disturbing to all of us, but she's still young. Do you think she was involved in any of the murders, like the Gogo?
Thank you.
At all, or are you just saying that she may have been doing something, thinking about it in the future? That's what I'm thinking about.
I am not there. I was never there. The police alone have been there in Massapequa Park House. I don't know what else they know. What I'm saying we can infer from this, and it's not the only inference, but it's a very strong inference, is that this girl was made over the course of years somehow to become accustomed to liking what you see here. And that didn't just happen in the air. That happened because somebody did something. And, you can take it from there, take the rest from there. That's what I'm saying. She certainly falls within the circle of suspicion as to some activity that's involved here, not least because we know that her hairs are found on the dead bodies.
If there was no double life like you suggest, are there civil legal ramifications?
There certainly could be civil legal ramifications for the Heuermann family, each of them. They're pretty extensive, I imagine. I'm not looking to pursue them myself. I'm not looking to sue them or have a civil case against them. It's nothing to do with me. But there could very well be, yes.
John,
Are you saying that you believe that Shannan Gilbert was a victim of Heuermann?
I'm not saying that Shannan Gilbert was certainly a victim of Heuermann. I am saying what we do know. And we know if that witness who was credible told the truth, the taxi driver, that Heuermann knew Shannan Gilbert. And that makes a lot of sense. If we follow the trail of Heuermann, I know that Heuermann was a very gregarious fellow from the witnesses I've talked to who've come and talked to me and given me statements. And I know that he spent a lot of time in various bars and places where there were strippers and dancers and that sort of thing around Long Island and in New York City. The chances that he came across Shannan Gilbert, besides what the taxi cab driver said, are excellent. She also has a Massapequa entry in her book that we found, her notebook of scheduling. And I point out another thing. That doesn't preclude anything I've said so far regarding my lawsuit that's continuing as we speak. There's connections that could be made there. We don't know. I'm not the police. If they come to me, I'll certainly report them. But it does strike me that when Shannan Gilbert says, the first thing she says on the 911 tapes is, someone is after me. Someone is after me. That means she's being chased. She's being stalked. Rex Heuermann was a stalker. You may remember from the beginning, before I ever knew of Rex Heuermann, I said publicly over and over, there's a hunter involved in this case. Someone was hunting her. He's a hunter. Rex Heuermann turns out to be a very avid hunter. And he belonged to a variety of rifle clubs. We saw a picture, I think, Newsday published. But there's more than that. If you look at the schedule that Ray Tierney put out, you can see that Heuermann, in a period of 2 weeks, was at 3 different hunt clubs. He's a real hunter. He's got 300 guns to do that. I have 3 eyewitnesses who say that he pulled pistols on them. One who says that he shot her right across the back of the neck. He's a hunter with guns. Who knows what else? Start to put those pieces together.
The DA said that the hairs found that matched Victoria's were transferred from Rex to the victim.
I don't think the DA said that the hairs were actually transferred. He speculated that they were transferred. The hairs transferred from Rex Heuermann to the body the hairs that belong to the daughter and the mother.
There it is.
He's speculating at that. He has no way of knowing that for certain. But now when you consider what you've seen and what you know, that might tip the card a little bit in favor of the fact that there might be more to it than just that they fell off of Heuermann, especially when you notice from the equipment that he took was designed, part of it, to clean up the hairs. And he even said so, and to wear a hairnet.
John, a lot of this art is disturbingly similar to the Gilgo victims, but as far as we can see, none of it was actually made by Victoria Heuermann. Did you look into who the creators of this art might have been?
Yeah, we know that they create this atrocious art as for a living, but you're not quite right. Take a look at what I showed you earlier. She created the monster that's eating a woman's breasts with a furry butt plug in the picture. She created that, and that was in line with everything else. So I can't agree with you there. She's in this art. I cannot hear you, Daniel.
They just wanted him to say butt plug again.
With this particular information, I notified Ray Tierney. I wrote him a letter, invited his detectives to come here if he wished to the press conference, and invited him to call me so I could do so. I have not heard from him. So we're just going forward with what we have. I at every step of the way in this case, I have cooperated with the authorities. I have given them what I'm entitled to give, from other witnesses. The witnesses who come to me, if they don't want their information turned over to the police, I don't do it. But if they give me permission, I always do it. I believe that the proper authority for properly investigating this and getting to the truth is the task force. We good?
Ray, you said countless times that all this is for justice for the victim. How is showing these images sum up justice for the victim?
Showing these images teaches us that there is a likely connection between Rex Heuermann and his family in these crimes that have been committed, and that the truth is going to reveal that. We don't know how far those connections reach. We do know if they do reach through the family, number one, he's not isolated. He's not acting alone. Number two, therefore, he is not, as I said before, living 2 lives. But number three, we should start to look at his wife, his daughter, where they went, who they met with. Things, it opens up this door. I have information. I know where his wife went sometimes. So that whole door is now opened. And there's one inference from at least some of the witchcraft things she talked about in her paperwork and so on. There's an inference. It's one inference of many that there's more than just them, that they're involved with other people. in this as well. That needs to be looked at. These people didn't tell the truth. They're misleading us.
John, I have a question. So basically, this portrait was created by Victoria. Of all that you've shown us, this is the one she created. Is that correct?
Yeah, the picture of the monster and the woman that I mentioned is created by Victoria. Everything else she erased. We don't know what else there is, but we do know that.
Was this found in the house and taken out by detectives?
I don't believe it was that it was found in the house, but I don't have their inventory. I don't know. But that's on, we connected it, as Lena has told you and explained to you, and we're giving you that explanation in detail for your use because I know it was highly technical. You can see that she can connect that with the other things that Victoria was looking at.
Are you sure she created it and not just posted it?
Her signature actually appears on it. Okay.
Hamburger.
Yeah, sure. I'm John Ray, Johnray. Now the doctor.
Dr. Gary Brucato, Gary, B as in boy, Rucato.
And Doctor, you're with Boston College. If you can just tell us your credentials again.
Sure. I'm currently a visiting scholar at Boston College, where I conduct forensic research with Dr. Ann Burgess. And I'm in private forensic practice, and I'm in private practice for general psychotherapy at Clarity Therapy in New York City. I'm a clinical psychologist and an author and researcher specializing in violent crime and severe mental illness.
If you need a packet, if you didn't get one, just give us your email. We'll give it to you. We have it. So you can have everything. Okay. Thank you.
I want that packet. Dag nabbit. Okay. Wow. What a press conference. What a press conference. Let's hear what JB has to say for like a second.
Depictions of cannibalism, dismemberment, and violent pornography. Part of the circumstantial evidence put forth, keyword circumstantial. Digital content allegedly shared online by Rex Heuermann's daughter, Victoria. But what are the legal implications, and do you believe that it has any connection whatsoever to the serial killings themselves on Long Island? Questions we're going to interactively examine here from the Stream Center.
Okay. Now, okay. First off, shout out to WFLA for dropping this this press conference because it is really hard to get these press conferences. I don't know why, because this is such a big case. In my personal opinion, this is as big or should be as big as like the Idaho 4 or any of these other press conferences that we see all on the live long day, right? And I still just don't understand why there isn't that so much focus on stuff like this. Again, I am shook by the information. I wasn't expecting it to go down this route, but it still swoops back. Just let me explain here. Now, we are looking at a situation where now we're looking at a family. Okay? Now it's not just Rexy. Now it's just not Gilgo Baggins. Now it sounds like there's a possibility of a family of enablers. Let me explain. All the information that they said here is all circumstantial evidence. It does not mean, oh, this is smoking gun evidence. It proves for a fact that one of the family members was right there in the room while all these things were going down. No, it does not show that. Okay? It doesn't show that. All it shows is that there is influence and there is at least knowledge of Rex Heuermann doing these terrible things out here in these streets. You see all the influence. Now, of course, we're going to talk about this because, of course, this is a question of, is this in the blood? Is this just DNA? Is this grooming? Is this influence? These are all the questions that should be asked, right? But as soon as you see something like somebody like this, somebody like Rex Heuermann, who's done some really, really terrible, terrible, terrible things, all right? Very vicious, monstrous things. And then as soon as they deep dive into the house and take people's computers, phones, all their electronics and whatnot, and you see that her spicy content searches, her corn, you know what I mean, code words, her searches match those of Rex Heuermann. I mean, it's kind of hard to sit there and go, oh no, it's just a coincidence that she has the same type of fetishes and the same type of sexual obsessions. She had to have learned something like that. Now, let me grab this really quick because there is a super chat that was put up, and I thought about this. I was like, that's a good question. So let me pull this up really quick. Reality, because we got some super chats and new members and all that. And I'm going to give you guys shout outs, of course, and we are going to address this. But I saw this in the very beginning, and I thought of this too. Okay, so thank you, Reality. I appreciate the support. What if he's using her accounts? That's a very good question. Okay. They took so many devices, but what the F? Yes, exactly. Indeed. A lot of this is what the F indeed. Okay. I am shook, guys, as you guys should be too, right? But I'm telling you this real quick. There is a good possibility that he used her accounts. Sure. But why would she not go to dad and go, Dad, what the heck are you doing? You're posting all these things that I have nothing, I'm not cool with these things. This is insane, Dad. What's wrong with you? So on and so forth. You would delete those things instantly, wouldn't you? You wouldn't leave those kind of things up if he was using her accounts. Think about that for a second. Sure, the searches, maybe he that could possibly be it. Him using her accounts in those searches, that's a possibility. But at the same time, what she is posting, what she is reposting and retweeting in a way, okay, are all things that are being done at her own account. And like I said, if there was a huge problem with that, if she did not do those things would have been deleted lickety-split. Then also, let's not forget her art. She even signed her art. And her art is just as disturbing and is just as twisted. Now, the way that they painted her out to be, they made it look like, okay, this young, demure, this young, innocent girl that has no idea what's going on, who's just his daddy's little girl, right? Just an innocent kid. Just an innocent 27-year-old woman, by the way. Okay? Is acting like she's one way, but the way that they showed it in this packet, which I need to get my hands on, and as soon as I get this packet, we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down, okay? But even in that stuff, you're looking at that and you're like, wait a second. They're depicting her to be like some dark force. Like, straight up emo chick. All right? I'm in love with the emo girl. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, right at the beginning, I'm going, just because she out her, dressed up in all darkness, in all dark and emoed out, gothed out and all that stuff, doesn't automatically mean she's out here doing bad. Oh, but wait. The fact that they are alleging depictions of these are words I can't even repeat, but eating, let's just say that. And you know exactly what I mean by eating. Okay, victims ate. All right. The fact that there was a website that she created that depicted all things that had things to do with hentai type of content, furry content, and then some. Let's not forget her Tumblr account and the content that she was reposting before it was banned. That kind of content was banned. Let's not forget all those things. Now, there were some things that were being said, some things that were being shown that I'm like, that might be a little bit of a stretch. That might be, but still, no matter what, her searches on spicy content is out of this world and closely matches what Daddy was searching as well. Okay. But the fact that they were sitting there looking at, and I'm sorry, I got my notes. So I'm just, like I said, I got a gang of notes. So I'm going through all this stuff like this. Okay. So just, grant me some grace here, guys. So I'm going to be constantly looking down quite a bit. But you got the situation of the photos, the display that they had. And one of the exhibits that they had was these people suspended, if that makes any sense. And one of them had one without a shoe. And then he said, oh, well, Sandra was found without a shoe as well. And he's like, there's a connection. To me, I'm like, I don't know. That may be a stretch. That may be a little bit of a stretch, but then again, maybe there is a connection. I don't know, right? I really don't know. Okay. Now, one thing I didn't catch, and maybe you guys did, but the Venan Demator website. I thought little lady there was going to give us the actual translation of the Venan Demator, but I didn't hear her say that, or at least I didn't catch her saying that. So I'm curious if you guys know about that too, if she translated what that meant, because apparently it's a word in Icelandic. It's an Icelandic word, allegedly. Somebody else asked, why Iceland? What's up with Iceland? Because Asa, the mother, the biological mother of these two kids right here, she is from Iceland. Just so you guys know. Just a quick refresher. Somebody did ask that in the chat, so I want to make sure you guys know that. Okay? And I think that's, of course, a huge concern as well. Could they be a flight risk? Have they seized their passports to make sure that they aren't kicking rocks out here in these streets? Remember, I don't, and I apologize for hopping back and forth. I'm going to be all over the place like birdshot with this conversation because there's so many notes, and it's not like I'm just kind of going off stream of consciousness here. Okay, I'm just shooting off the top of the dome. All right, but that is one of the concerns I have, is that they're going to pack up and they're going to kick rocks. All right, they're going to fly across the country. They're going to be out there doing yoga with Russell Simmons in no time. So that's one of the things I'm concerned about, them flying somewhere where they won't get extradited. So I'm hoping that they seize those passports, because no matter what, they're breaking things down and they're slowly but surely getting the information. Now, this is one of the reasons why I'm realizing even more why Mama has been showing up to all the hearings. She might want to know exactly what's going on. She wants to make sure that her kids are safe. I don't think the son, they haven't linked him to anything as of yet. Okay. And if I'm correct, he is special needs, if I'm correct, if my memory serves me correctly. But they all live at home. They all live at the home. If I remember correctly, they all still live in the red house over yonder. They still live in that house together, all four of them. This 27-year-old woman still living in that house, from my understanding. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn they are still living in that house together as one unit. That could tell you something too. Maybe not. But there is other things. Saying the M word is very romantic, for example. Coming out with deeply disturbed excerpts from whatever she's reading. In fact, those excerpts that they pulled up, that she was using and pulling out onto her social medias, I'm wondering where those excerpts are actually coming from. What books, what movies, what websites, whatever it is, where is she getting that content? Where's she getting the excerpts from? I'm curious. My other question that keeps burning in my head is, because here's the thing. You got to remember, allegedly, mama would take the kids out on trips as daddy went out and hunted his next prey, his next victim, right? He did all that while they're out in Iceland. So it's not like she's there. It's not like she's out there helping him hunt and gather, right? But there is a possibility later on in life, maybe she was starting to learn the tricks of the trade. There's no way that you can have all of this dark, sinister thoughts, feelings, imagery, searches, and all that, and that just be because you are biologically born from a serial monster. There is no way that this 27-year-old woman lived a life of dandelions and daffodils and suddenly became a force of darkness. There's no way. There is no way. This is most definitely, as someone just said, a family affair. That's what I believe. There's no way that this is all just okay and normal. Let's not forget the book, a book that was found on the coffee table in the house, guys, that depicted S workers hacked up. It's a book that was just sitting there, chilling on the coffee table for everyone to see. You're telling me you got a little kid, let's just say kids growing up in this house, and you got content like that just sitting, strewn about for people to just open up and page through if they want to, desensitizing them to these horrors to the point where it becomes part of their appetites. Think about this, guys. This is insane. Think about this. This is a family affair. That family knew. Going back to the mom and the swinging for the fences conversation, right? That funky dope loving. Remember that stuff? How they like to go swinging? Okay? And I'm not talking about the dance moves. All right? Apparently they like to share, baby. Right? So they're sharing. They're bringing people up. They got to have been bringing people over to the crib. You're telling me none of them got lured in and then they became a victim? You're not paying for an S worker to come over and be a part of a little fun, and then they never come out of that house ever again? I'm just saying. You cannot look at this and say that this family did not know anything at all. This completely changes the dynamics of this case. This family, if they did not have a hand in the unalivings of these multiple victims, they at least knew that this stuff was going down. Have mercy. I'm sorry, this is a bombshell in my personal opinion. Sure, the way it looked, the angles that you're looking at, it is a specific angle. But look at all the content that she was posting, the searches that she was putting into her P-Hub and other dark websites. Okay, the things that she was reposting, the quotes that she was putting out here, the content that she was observing and consuming with her own eyes. Like I said, and the things that were being found inside that house that were just sitting there for everyone to see, everyone. Not only just Victoria, but her brother and her mama too. They all saw this stuff on a daily like it was nothing. Henceforth, that's the reason why her searches were so demonic, so dark, so messed up. she allegedly would be on these trips with her mom and her brother. So was she really ever with him during the times when he was on a hunt for his new next victim? That's a question I'd like to have answered. But I did not know that they were literally going to drop this bombshell. I figured they were going to talk about mama. I did not know they were going to use daughter. But I'm surprised, but then at the same time, I am not. You can't tell me that this man was doing all this willy-nilly, leading a double life for 3+ decades without the kids or even the mama, his own wife, his best friend, knowing about any of this stuff. There is no way. Then you also have somebody, it cannot be a coincidence that she is searching those dark types of searches, obsessing over those types of disturbing images that they showed us. And they said that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that they can't even show because of how gruesome the content is. That says a lot, guys. So, and I'm not even done yet. We got more to talk about. Another question I have is, where is Victoria right now? That's what I'd like to know. Where's she at? Okay, she's not behind me. Whoo, but she ain't here. So where's Victoria? Where's the family at right now? And why are they not being brought in for questioning and being detained as soon as possible? That's what I'd like to know. Now, I know what John Ray put out here is just speculation. It's circumstantial evidence, as he said. But this shows to me without a shadow of a doubt that this family knew exactly what Rex Heuermann was doing. There's no way you can do all of that and your kid just happens to grow up demented. There's no way. The same searches, the same obsessions. Hers is a little bit more furry, a little bit more animated than his, but still, they're one and the same. Like father, like daughter, right? Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Now, does it? Now, again, he did say in the very beginning that Victoria could very well be a victim. And I agree. She's in a house of horrors. She's in a house with a monster. And all she knows is what the monster knows and what the monsterette knows as well. Her own mama that's allowing this kind of behavior in the house as well. Let's not forget that. Okay? You got two monsters in the house raising these two kids. All they know is what they know. So, of course, it's the environment in which they are being raised up in. But I guarantee you, he probably showed her some stuff. She probably walked in on something. Him trying to maybe move a body, get rid of evidence, something of that sort. She understood something at some point. I'm sure she's a victim of him too. Both of them, I'm sure. Hate to say that, but they could be SA'd. There could be CM going on, child M going on here when they were kids, all the way up to where they are adults now. She is still living in that house, guys. She still lives in that house. And she's 27 years old. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, that there's something wrong with that. But that does say something. That is very telling. Something demonic this way comes, okay? Something demonic this way comes, for sure. You got searches, girl begging for. You got girl with bruised face, redhead tied up. Other redhead types of searches, okay? Depictions of animals I'll just say that. Some people are asking, or they mentioned Stockholm syndrome. I am kind of curious about that as well. I mean, you are brought up and raised in this type of environment. So I'm curious as far as the influence, right? As far as that influence, could it be Stockholm? It could. But right now, and of course, one of the bodies allegedly had, or her hair was on one of the bodies, if I'm correct. I guess she was around 14 years old, if I'm correct. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. I was looking some things up. Where the heck is it? It's crazy to me. Yeah, I mean, even just this post here that says daughter's DNA helped link Gilgo suspect to the M, to these unalivings, right? And that's crazy, right? So let me show you guys a little bit of this. I don't know if it's in the very beginning of this article or not, but we're going to take a look a little bit at this. If it doesn't give us what we need, then we're going to move on. But still, okay, so he was charged in 3 at this time. Remember, this was in July. Well, this is posted, I guess it was updated recently in January, okay? But let's see. New DNA evidence revealed Tuesday helped connect to all 4 of the victims at that time. Okay, so let's see. Those sets of remains found. Sorry, I'm skimming through this to see if I can find. We already know about all of this stuff. Okay, his searches related to spicy content, disturbingly spicy content. Okay. Investigators saw Victoria Heuermann. They kept on calling him Heuermann, which is interesting. Horror man. But anyway, Victoria Heuermann drinking from the can while. Oh, okay. While on a Long Island Railroad train, they took the can after she discarded in the trash bin. Through the investigation, key evidence has included the 5 hairs found on the victims. All right. DNA testing helped prove more accurate results. Okay. So this DNA is found in the cell nucleus. Mitochondrial DNA is found on cell cytoplasm, according to reports. A female hair was found on the buckle, profile generated from the female hair on Barnes. Recovered on the belt buckle. We already know how close this was. All right. But it says from a person genetically identical to Asa Ellerup's SNN genotype file than from an unrelated individual. 2 female hairs were found on Megan Waterman. DNA profile generated said the hair was 2.374 times, I guess, to the 10th power, I guess. Or sorry, times 10 to the 48th power to have come from a person genetically linked to Ellerup's profile than to unrelated individual. The second hair removed from the tape from Waterman's head area, same thing. A person genetically identical to Ellerup, to Asa. Another one, female hair found. Okay. At the time of her disappearance and unaliving, Victoria Heuermann would have been a month shy of her 14th birthday, the report said. 2 forensic labs have independently determined that the female hairs recovered on Waterman and Costello are derived from a person genetically identical to the SNP genotype files of members of Heuermann's family, specifically Asa Ellerup and Victoria Heuermann. So that's what they're talking about when they say hairs were found on victims that were that of Victoria. Interesting, right? Interesting, right? Just so you guys know. So, like I said before, this is extremely damning information. This is a bombshell. And I will say, and the thing is yes, circumstantial evidence. It's just circumstantial. At this point, you could look at it and go, okay, it's, you could look at it and go, it's speculation. It's light. It's a soft speculation. Because let's be real. You got content like that she is allegedly putting out here in the internet streets. And I guess it's on the dark web type thing, right? She's putting that kind of content out here. We're talking about Victoria, the daughter. She's out here doing all that, putting out content, looking up searches that are almost exactly like daddy's searches. She has the same type of appetite. She is influenced by this man for sure. Okay? She is putting this information out here. She is putting out artwork of her own that she's even signed herself, that it is her stuff, y'all. It is her stuff. She's posting depictions of other art depicting very disturbing things. One of them looked a lot like Rex. Looked a lot like Gilgo Baggins. Doing unthinkable, disturbing things in the photo or in the art work. You can't sit here and look at this and go, well, maybe. No. What are the chances of another potential serial killer in the family, and all she was living and growing up around was lollipops, raindrops, and daffodils, honeybees, Mr. Bluebird sing on my shoulder type ish? Hell to the no. There's no way. There's no way that she just happened to go dark without some sort of influence. This also shows to us, without a shadow of a doubt, Rex was not living a double life. He was not. So exactly what I said, let me just really quick. I knew it. I told you. I knew it. I was right. I was right. Yes. I had to get it out of my system again. It feels good when you're right. Feels good when things start to come out, right? More information. This is bombshell stuff. Holy crap. Holy crap, yo. This is insane. And in my mind, I keep thinking that I believe he was trying to influence and work his way, raise another one. You can't tell me that this young girl, well, not this young girl, this young woman now, was just learning this stuff or having this stuff around her just for ish and giggles. I think he was trying to raise another one. Be just like me. You will learn the ways, but you're going to be just like me. You never know. He may have looked at this stuff as a superpower. He may have looked at this as a disease. Doesn't matter. He definitely wanted to pass on his legacy. He definitely did. Somebody said the Gilgo legacy. It could be. It could very well be. Like I said, have their passports been seized? Where are they right now? Are they back in the Red House? I'm curious. Extreme BDSM. Again, we still have to look at this as if she is a victim too. Because she is. If you really think about it. This is a baby that grew in a house of horrors. All she knows is what she knows, is her environment. And her environment is filled with nothing but dismemberments and images of horror. But they allowed this behavior. They allowed this type of lifestyle. Asa did too. Like I said, I think he turned to her and said, hey, I need some time off, if you get my drift. Okay, honey, happy hunting. Take the kids, fly off to Iceland, fly somewhere where they know for a fact there is no way to tag Asa or the kids, connect them to any of these unalivings. So they go across the pond. They go to Iceland. They go to, you see what I'm saying? They take some trip while he goes off and does unthinkable things while they're on these trips. There's an understanding here. There is an understanding here for sure. But that whole family needs to be looked at. All of them. Most definitely. Let me take some of these super chats here really quick. Miss Curvy, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate the super sticker. Ray Twice, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to becoming a member. And just like Ray, please become a member. Consider becoming a member. Flower Power, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. Beach Life, welcome to the family. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Jennifer Estrada, hello. How you doing? I will say this. If your child was looking at this, would you not get them a psychiatrist? No doubt. This is disgusting. Be honest with yourself. Absolutely. Wouldn't you? See, that's the other thing too. It shows the dynamics inside that house, right? Asa is allowing this type of behavior. Without a shadow of a doubt, she is allowing this type of behavior. She Gucci with it. If she wasn't Gucci with it, she would have kicked rocks with these kids a long ass time ago. In fact, she may have kicked rocks before these kids were even born because she would have known. I'm sure she knew. I am sure she knew. You can't tell me, like I said, 30 plus decades, 30 plus years. And you're telling me he didn't slip up not once? With his obsessions, if it really encapsulates his whole entire life, you're telling me they wouldn't see that? If he's an avid, for example, if you're an avid coffee drinker and you live with somebody, even if you have a roommate, within a month or two, they're going to figure out, oh, he likes to drink coffee. He loves his coffee. You know, he's got a French press. He's got this, he's got all these different things, these little knickknacks for his coffee. And that's just about coffee, guys. If you're out here moonlighting and your obsession is to do these unthinkable things like this, eventually your family, your best friend, your lover, your spouse is going to figure it out. He's bad. See what I'm saying? He no bueno. So on and so forth. You're not going to see those things. You're going to notice weird things. You're going to notice the little idiosyncratic things about your spouse. We all have our weird little tics. We're all human. But this stuff is inhuman. And this stuff would stick out like a sore thumb, especially if it's this dark and sinister. Just saying. Medley, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate it so much. Jackie, thank you so much for the support. Pascal, thank you for showing us the presser. I know you're as shocked as we are. Let's talk a moment to tell our loved ones and friends and others that we love them. Absolutely. Yeah, because I love y'all. I love y'all too. Okay. I love y'all too. Okay. And yes, we should all be, I know some of us need a lot of us need a hug right now. Okay. Because this is crazy and heartbreaking. Tired as a mother. Pets give owners gifts like a mouse they unalived. Is it possible Rex knew what she liked and brought it to life for her? Ooh, that's very, ooh. I know, you're right. A cat will come up and go, bleh, mouse. And it's all gutted. And you're like, oh my God, Fluffy. You know what I mean? I get that, right? Totally get that. But yeah, maybe Rex, I don't know. That's crazy. Tired. Why did you go there? I'm just saying, you know, the cat thing. I've had cats when I was a kid and they, you know, it's like, bleh. You're like, oh, good. The next day it's just there, you know, flies flying all over the place and stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And they're like, look what I did. You know, I love you. Now give me food. You know what I mean? They do that. Cats are weird. You know, I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you. That's a cat. Just saying. But that is interesting as far as Rex goes. Maybe. And again, he's bringing these victims into that house. I'm telling you, there's got to be more moments where these kids and this wife knew when he was bringing these women home, these victims. I'm just saying. Think about that for a second. He knew, or they come home early one day and he's there in the basement working. They're not hearing these things. They're not seeing these. I'm telling you, it's not every. I feel like sometimes when they go out of town, you know, I don't think every single time they go out of town, he's out on a hunt. And I don't think that whenever when they're home, he's just a goody two shoes, freaking leave it to Beaver, Mr. Cleaver, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. You know, I really don't think he's doing that. You know? Like, won't you be my neighbor? He's taking off his outside shoes and he's putting on his inside shoes. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, we're going to talk about a new book and talk about equality and all that stuff. I want to put my feet in the same pool with a black man's feet in a pool. You know, the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood guys. Okay. Like stuff like you're not seeing, I don't think we're seeing that in that home. I think if he just wanted to bring somebody home, he's also bringing somebody home. And then he's doing whatever he wants. It's like, Daddy got to work tonight. And the family's like, okay. Honey's like, you know, wife's like, oh, honey, the food will be in the oven. You know, left it in the microwave. Okay? Don't stay up too late. You didn't sleep last night, hon. It just seems like that a little bit. So I don't think it's every single time that they fly off to Iceland or they go off on some random trip, you know, overseas. I think he's also doing this while they're home too. There's got to be. It's got to be. Reality. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. NIW. Oh, now. I think you're saying now. Yep, that's a typo. Now I'm convinced it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. For real, for real. You know what? You ain't wrong with that too, though. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's keep it a buck. Yeah, something ain't right about this, y'all. Something ain't right about this at all. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, y'all. I'm gonna keep it real. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. Dottie, thank you. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. S-Dubs, what's up, mine? Legit fear the family will continue without Rex. You know what? They won't. They can't now. If they have any involvement in the unalivings of any of these victims, they're not going to, everyone's going to be watching them like a hawk. There's no way that they're going to be able to do this, to go run around. Their faces are too known now. Well, they will be now. After what John Ray just did, he just dropped the bomb. He just dropped the bombshell. Now everybody and their mama watch the news and media take this and run with this like a mug. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Damn right. This is what they deserve. They have done some very, 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 very bad things. Damn right. Now their faces are going to be plastered all over the place. Now it's going to be like, like father, like daughter. You know what I mean? Now it's going to be like a full profile investigation into the Heuermann family, the house, the red house over yonder. You know what I mean? Here I am in front of the red house, the house of horrors, where all of the alleged, you know what I mean? Watch documentaries, podcasts, exclusive interviews with experts. All of these things are about to start going off, and it's all going to be about the family now. It's not only going to be about Rex now. It's going to be about family. Family over everything. Fast and Furious. Watch. It's coming. Mimi, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. But think about that, y'all. Yep. House of Horrors, the Heuermann saga. You know what I mean? The Gilgo legacy. Watch. Was Rex Heuermann trying to groom a new serial killer? You know? Let me try that again. Was Rex Heuermann trying to groom another serial killer? Maybe. That might be it. But like I said, there's too much here. Okay? That is too damning for the family. And with everything that they have, what John Ray just gave out and just dropped, again, circumstantial evidence, right? It's very damning and points us in a specific direction. It doesn't automatically say, oh, they had their hands in the unaliving. No, but there was influence there. And it shows that they knew and they allowed this type of behavior to live on. That's what we see. Now, as far as little Vicky here, Victoria, I'm concerned for her. I'm hoping that they're bringing her in, doing a deep psych eval, trying to figure out what the heck is going on here, because it is really messed up. Now, the other thing, too, is did Rex Heuermann want this type of attention? You know, you look at somebody like Coco, Brian Koberger, okay? You know, I like to call him Coco. You look at Coco, right? And everyone says, at least when they break it down, they go, he seems like the kind of guy who wants the attention. He wants it to be known that he's done these unthinkable things to the Idaho 4, right? So then you look at Rex Heuermann. Is Rex Heuermann out here for the glory? Or did he just want to live his life going out here running around unaliving people? That's the one thing I'm wondering. That's one of the questions I have. Because if it is a situation where he is trying to get the fame and glory, then the family is probably relishing in that as well. Because you got to remember, he is the biggest influence on them. If she's painting and drawing and depicting very graphic images and all that, and then you got books that are strewn about the house that are showing images of unthinkable things, clearly there's an heavy influence coming from Papa. So I keep wondering, are they down and interested in wanting the attention and glory? I mean, John really did throw a jab at the family when he said, well, they did bank on this. They did get a fat check from Peacock because of the documentary that they're making, allegedly. I heard something upwards of $1 million for them to be featured in a documentary made by Peacock right now as we speak. So are they interested in the glory, the notoriety, the name? Or are they really ashamed? To me, you just took $1 million buckaroos. You just took $1 million ducats to be on a documentary about your own dad, about your own husband, being alleged of doing these unalivings. And I will say this too. She's in these, apparently, this is what John Ray said. In these documentaries, she's made to look at her. She looks like this, like, innocent little, she's 27 years old, guys. Why is she dressed like she's 16? Like she's really hoping that Jim Bob takes her out, for a night of popcorn in a movie. She's 27 years old, y'all. And why is she dressed like that? I see what John Ray was laying out. Oh, look at her. She's innocent. She's, she doesn't dress like that. She doesn't act this way. She's totally fine. She Gucci, right? She's just an innocent little, she ain't little. She's almost damn near 30. I ain't never seen a 30-year-old walk around unless you like Drake. But I ain't never seen no 30-year-old, damn near 30-year-old woman walking around with the backpack in the front and all that. I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. And the big sweater and all that. Like I said, I feel like she's off to high school. When actually she's all emoed out, wearing all black and stuff like that, making artwork that's extremely disturbing. But she's like, no, I want everybody to think that I'm just some 17-year-old girl. You're 27, man. You're 27. And no diss to... she caught me. It was a joke, okay? No diss to Drake, okay? I like Drake too, all right? But some people dress in certain ways, right? Some dress a little bit more in that street gear, and some people don't. This is no, that's not street gear. This is, I'm going to Bible study, Gonna wash myself in the blood of Jesus, But the book bag is weird. But okay. Just saying. And she may be mentally stunted. You're right, Pretzel. She may be mentally stunted. But we will see as time goes on. Actually, let me see. Because let me see. She may be mentally stunted for sure. The trauma she's probably seen with her own two eyes, most definitely. And I would say the same thing about the son too. Definitely stunted for sure. And God knows what happened to him when he was a kid as well. Both of them. Like I said, they're still victims here. They're victims to this man, to this monster, Gilgo Baggins. Now, Toby, thank you. Wow, your name's Toby. Toby Marie, sorry, because I said the inside pocket of a man named Toby, so I'm sorry. You just caught me off guard. I appreciate the support. I'm shocked, disgusted, and horrified. The images, they knew. How did she not know? Sick is an understatement. I'll not sleep well for a while. Yeah. Because what's crazy to me is, Toby, what's crazy to me is that there's so many people out here that are doing the exact same thing, that are living in plain sight, living in the public eye, living their life like it's golden, and doing exactly what they're doing, if not worse. We are already looking at somebody like Stephen Stern's pig vomit, right? The Madeline Soto case. We've been looking at that quite a bit. And haven't we noticed? I hope we all realize that Maddie did a lot of other potential victims a favor by getting her body found quickly. By being in, I hate to say it like that, but being in those photos, because without those photos, they wouldn't have been able to take him down as quickly. Without the surveillance footage that they found, without that eyewitness seeing him changing his raggedy ass tire, he could still be out here doing even more craziness. He could be a Rex Heuermann in the works, but he got caught early, all because of Maddie. You know, and in a weird, dark, messed up, twisted way, Maddie is a hero because she saved so many other potential victims from the clutches of pig vomit. The only thing that's different is that this man did this for 30 years. He just didn't get caught fast enough. And that's not a dig at law enforcement or anything of that sort. It's not. It's just that they didn't have the evidence. But you got to remember, as much as we want to fight it, as much as we may want to deny it, this is a family that also is a victim as well. Let me say this too. Of course, I look at the mom as well. And I blame the mom as well. But then I also look at her and I say, okay, she may be a victim as well. What type of victim? Don't know. But she did allow this type of stuff to happen inside that home for decades. Those kids grew up in a very demented, messed up, and dark world inside that red house. She is part to blame as well. But she is also a victim as well. It's a damn shame. But if only someone spoke up earlier, we could have saved a lot more lives. Or law enforcement could have saved a lot more lives. Yeah, Mod. Yeah, definitely child A for sure. So, like I said, Bonnie and Clyde, natural born killers type ish. That's the vibe I get when it comes to Rex and now Asa. She is shoved right into that category with Rex, to me. Because you got to remember, let me just say this. As much as they've just pinned a lot of stuff on Victoria, does not mean that she raised a knife or raised a hand on anyone. There's no proof of that so far. You have to remember that. All they're trying to show is that that house was definitely a house of horrors, and he did not live a double life. They knew exactly what he was doing. We have to remember that for sure. Does not mean that she had anything to do with anything with the unalivings, but she is deeply disturbed. She is most definitely deeply disturbed. And I hope at some point They're going to unearth more stuff. And I hope that there's connections to Asa, because I really think that that's coming here very, very soon. Trust and believe it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really, really means a lot. Okay. Thank you so much. You never know. You know, the other thing I want to say, though, too, before we wrap up, there's a possibility that he made her help clean up. I'm talking about Victoria. Like I said, maybe he was slowly but surely trying to get her to learn the ways of his demented samurai. I'm just saying, learn the tricks of the trade. Also, oh my Lord, think about this for a second. Holy cow. Holy cow. Think about this for a second. Can I just say this really quick? Holy cow. Hold on. This just popped in my head. Okay. Here's another thing. Think about this for a second. What if this now it's like ancient aliens, man. But anyway, just ride with me. What are the chances, okay, that blueprint was not just notes for himself, but for his family? Think about it for a second. He's writing all this stuff down like a manifesto. Here's what you do. Here's what less of this, more of this, put it in this. And less of screaming, less of this, less of that. More sleep means more play, blah, blah, blah. Check out dumpsters, check out cameras. Make sure you do all this stuff, right? What if he's writing this stuff down for to leave it behind for his legacy? I'm sorry, I got to do it again. Sorry, not sorry. Think about that for a second. Holy cow. So it's not only just notes for himself, but also he's sitting there going, boom, let me take this over to Victoria, because she's going to pass. I'm passing the torch on. To Victoria or to whoever, maybe his son, but mainly I think Victoria. I'm passing it on to my daughter. Here's what you do. Exactly what I did. So then the Gilgo Beach monster lives on. So think about this. Holy crap. Oh my God. Another one. Okay, another one. Think about this. You know that there's plenty of cases where there's been cases that have gone cold, right? But then someone will get unalived in the exact same fashion like 20, 30 years later. And you're like, wait a second. The man that we all thought it was, he gone, and they're still doing this stuff 30 years later. Is it a copycat or is it the same person? Think about that for a second. So then the legacy moves on. Do you see what I'm saying? Gilgo Beach SKer is now just it wears many faces. It's a legacy. It keeps moving on. It's like Batman, right? I don't know why I said Batman, but it's like Batman, right? We don't know the identity of Batman, but somebody's still out there wearing the mask. Does that make sense? So he could be sitting there writing this stuff down to pass on this, because it will be the Gilgo Beach serial killer legacy. And it keeps living on, but he got caught, right? He got caught. Right? Think about that for a second. Holy cow. Now, the Creole lady said I'm reaching, but I don't think I'm reaching. I think he was grooming his kids, at least his daughter, to become the next. And then as you see it continue, people are going, wow, this person's still putting things out here 20 years later. And the person that we thought it was is gone now. Could this be a copycat? Or is it really the Gilgo Beach monster? You see what I'm saying? The name lives on. The mask is still out there. But we don't know the identity of that monster. Does that make sense? So that book or that documents that he was writing, that he was journaling, the blueprint could have been a blueprint to pass on to his own family members. Now, I know that's a crazy theory, That literally, I have not thought this through. This is just me shooting this straight from the hip. But what are the chances? We hear stories about like this all the time. Oh, this person was unalived in the exact same fashion as this particular infamous monster that still has yet to be found. Is it the same person? Or is it a copycat? Only to find out like this Gilgo Beach monster's immortal. Because if it goes to her, then she passes it down. She passes it down to her kid. You see what I'm saying? To her seed. And on and on and on. And then Gilgo Beach could continue on in infamy. But he got caught. But anyway, guys, random theory, crazy theory, but I had to get it out my system. All right. Shot in the dark. But we do know now that the family is involved, or at least they know. Involvement, I'm sure that's going to be another press conference coming in the near future. Nonetheless, this was a bombshell of a press conference. This shows that he had heavy influence on the demented thoughts that were going through his own daughter's mind, which shows to me, yeah, they knew what he was doing. They most definitely knew what he was doing. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, make it scream out your name, doggone it. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. What a morning. Please be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook or any of these other platforms like TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter, please go hit that follow button, okay? And do not forget to hit that subscribe button right here on my YouTube channel. We are still covering this Rex Heuermann case. We're going to continue as more information drops, but this was a bombshell. Wow. What a day. I appreciate all y'all. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Become a member by hitting that join button down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching anywhere else and you want to support any further, you can go to my Patreon. Patreon.com/thepascalshow. It's right there underneath me as we speak. Going that away. Show some love, show some support. These purple lights do not pay for themselves. So I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate the support. Much love to you guys. I'll see you guys in a couple hours, okay? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very soon. Justice is coming. Justice is coming for all those victims. And I'm here for it. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.